All right, we're here with Mr. G. Edward Griffin, and we're so grateful you take some time to speak to the parents out there. You've done a lot of research. You're an author. You're the founder of Freedom Force International, about empowering humanity. And we're curious what your thoughts are, Mr. Griffin, about the school system. The people watching are parents who are concerned about what's going on, perhaps some students, and they're open to your insights and thoughts about the school system. So what would you have to say to parents about what they need to know about the school system?
Well, that's a big topic, isn't it? You start with basics, I suppose. We understand that the school system, in general, I think we're talking about government school systems, they are branches of the government. And so when you talk about the school system and the quality of the education, you're automatically talking about the government and the quality of the governance and the quality of the philosophy that's embedded itself in government. Because those, unfortunately, today, government is no longer an instrument of serving the people. It has grown so large and been given so much power, supposedly to serve the people, but what actually happened is that the power is so great and so tempting that it has become like a magnet that attracts what I would call the predator class. I mean, can you just imagine a con artist would love to go into government work? And in fact, when you really peel back the label on a lot of politicians today, what you do see is exactly that. These people are con artists. They know what the public wants to hear. They come up with slogans, they promise this, that, and the other thing, but they're really con artists. Their only interest is in feathering their own careers and, to their advantage. And they know that in order to do that, they have to speak the right language. They have to talk about, hey, I'm concerned about the students and the quality of education and whatever people want to hear. It is a fact that many politicians, if not most of them, hire professional firms to conduct polls among their constituency to find out what's on their mind. Sometimes you get them in the mail, and what's on your mind? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? And you get the impression that they really care what you think. Well, they do care what you think, but not because they want to follow what you think. They care what you think so they can write their speeches and appeal to what you want to hear them say. And that is a fact of life. It's a terrible thing to think about, that the power of the state increasingly has fallen into the hands of con artists or the predator class. And so once we get a handle on that, some people don't want to face it, but if you get a handle on that, then you come back to the original question, what about our school system? Well, that means that the school system is also subject to this same kind of mentality. In other words, it's sold to the highest bidder, or it's sold to the ideological preferences of the people that gravitate into government work. Now, that's a big topic too. What are these ideological principles and preferences? Well, it's basically called collectivism. The schools are teaching collectivism. And by that word, I mean it's a concept in which the government is all-powerful. It's not the old way that it used to be, in which the government served the people and the government took orders from the people. Now it has gradually evolved to the point where the people take orders from the government, and the people are conditioned even in the schools to think that that's okay. That, after all, the schools are run by the government, and since the schools are run by the government, that the government has gone out of its way to make sure that the curricula for the students is such that they teach youngsters that this relationship is the best relationship. It's the natural relationship. You should turn to government to solve all their personal problems, national problems, community problems. Government, 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 because that's where the power and the money goes. So what happens is that the students are taught, as I was taught in school, that everything should be for the greater good of the greater number. Well, that sounds like a great idea, so they believe it. The greater good of the number, greater number always translates into the greater good for the state, because the state represents the greater number, theoretically. That's what they're told. And so what happens is the children come out of school thinking that all the welfare programs and the labor laws and the building codes and all of the regulations on our lives and all these encroaching forms of government control over us, they think that's good because it's for the greater good of the greater number. Now, the really tragic part of this is not only that that is contrary to the principles of personal liberty, but the kids come out of school and they go into teachers' college, and now they're the next round teaching the new way. And so it doesn't take very long. It takes a couple of generations of this, 40 years, 50 years, and you've got a self-perpetuating mechanism that is really deadly for the nation, because it'll crank out children who are totally imbued with the idea that they should serve the state. I think a parent needs to know that. Parents today should know that because they've already been subjected to it themselves. There's nobody listening to this video or watching this video that's going to be surprised by this, because they're going to say, oh yeah, that's what I was taught in school. But I think it's important to be aware of this, and that maybe that's not a good thing. And if you agree with me that that is definitely not a good thing, then it's time to do something about it.
Absolutely. And any last words? First of all, we thank you that you helped contribute to the Volume 2 of the Underground History of American Education by John Taylor Gatto, and he's a fan of your work, and we'll be seeing him shortly. And you know he had a stroke a few years back, so any message for John, or want to share some words about John or to others?
Well, John is definitely, he should be enshrined in the Hall of Heroes, because he took a stand early on against this deterioration of education, and I'm sure at great cost to him, socially, economically, and so forth. So he had the courage to take a stand. So anybody that knows anything about John's work and his struggles has to admire the man immensely, as I do. So I'm going to say hello, John. I hope you're feeling better, and keep those articles coming. We're waiting for them.
Excellent. And we're at the Red Pill Expo 2017. You said it's going to be June 2018, the Red Pill Expo again. Is that true?
Well, we don't know the exact date, but so I cannot say for sure, but we're going to try to get it to the same weekend of what was now the 23rd and 24th. Whatever that weekend falls into a year from now, that's what we're going to shoot for.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we'll put the Red Pill University link in the description below. Thank you for that.
Yes, and that's a good point, because anybody that wants to come to the Red Pill University and get on that list, well, they'll automatically be informed of all the events, including the next Red Pill Expo.
Awesome. We thank you so much.
Thank you.